Hi Nadine. So I just thought I would send you a video text. So, because a lot of things can be read in between text messages and different things like that. And so I want to make sure that you're also aware that I am sensitive to the situation and not trying to give quick fixes either, because I get it. When you're in a huge flare up, it is so easy to get your eyes on the pain. And I agree. If your body is saying rest, I need safety, then you pay attention to that and you do your resting and stuff like that. The most important thing is trying to learn to become indifferent to the pain, which is not easy, but it is very important to the rewiring process. But when it's really, really high, yes, it feels nearly impossible. And I'm with you on that one. It just feels like, no, I get it. I really do. So I really pay attention to my body at those times too. There's one thing too. I find that when I'm in that real huge flare up, sometimes when I listen to Dan Buglio, it will at least help me to refocus my mindset a little bit better, because otherwise the pain gets so loud, it's hard to focus on anything else. Do you know what I mean? If someone says, okay, well, go meditate. Yeah, you just sit there and all you feel is your damn pain. And it's easier said than done to use visualization at those moments. Now, as we learn to do that, of course, we're going to have more and more results over time. But sometimes it's those little steps in the middle of all that chaos, right? We might only get the little steps in, no gigantic things, and that's okay. So, and I know that you probably know that already too, but I just wanted to reiterate that. But I find that listening to him helps a lot. Like when I'm regulating through high pain moments as well, because it's so easy for me, like yourself, to get focused in those pain areas. And I've had my flare up, and this morning was more intense because, well, it's just certain positions and stuff like that. So I won't get into all the details, but I had my flare up and I have to be careful what I do right now. And so, yes, I know that I'm not fully being indifferent to all the pain. Like my husband's like, okay, can you help me move that? And I'm like, I can't lift a whole lot right now. I can't do a whole lot with my hands. Maybe I shouldn't be using those words. I still have a lot of growth to do in that area. But at the same time, I try to pay attention to my body, because, saying, well, I want to become indifferent to the pain is not necessarily doing the things all the time that is going to increase your pain when you're already in a big flare up. So sometimes there's a fine line of finding out how to do that. For me, it's like, no, I'm not flaring it up anymore. So I know right now that I got to be careful what I do. And that process for me is I am trying to teach my body safety as well. So sometimes listening to soothing music, listening to someone like Dan Buglio. I found even like with listening to him, sometimes what I'll do is I'll play instrumental soothing music in the background and listen to him at the same time. And I find that combination helps me a lot, because music soothes my nervous system. And then you have someone talking for you, so that your mind is like not overactive and over talking. Pain, oh, where's it? What am I doing? And it's that chronic thinking about where's all the pain? What did I do? What is this? What is that? And that perpetuates the pain the more we worry about it and think about it, right? So listening to someone telling us it's okay, just try to be indifferent, try to rethink, understand what is going on. And I mean, I'm not exactly sure where you're at, especially if you're not sure where all of it came from. It gets tricky, but in my case, I know for the most part what is going on. And even when I do get my flare-ups from something that I've done physically, like I know where I'm at right now, the reason I'm having a flare-up. It has been involved with some emotions, but the biggest part of the flare-up came because I tried a certain exercise that's not supposed to flare you up, but because of my system, it was too much for me. And that caused issues. And then I went to visit a friend, and she took me on a four-wheeler ride, and I didn't know she was going to go really fast and over bumpy roads and all that, and that set things off too. So all of that combined with some very intense emotions the past week has not been the best stew to make for this type of a situation. So But I still know that even though I went on that bumpy road and even though I did that exercise, technically there's nothing physically wrong with me. My body is overreacting, and it is my nervous system. So there's different things like that. So knowing what it is, if you know what the root is, if you really injured yourself, that's one thing. If there's something really physically going on with you, that's another thing. But if your doctor says, look, there's nothing going on here, or you didn't physically injure yourself, or nothing should attribute that type of a pain, then you know it's most likely that kind of nervous system, brain, fight and flight pain to protect you. And Dan Buglio does have a website where you can actually take a test that will tell you just how much is that type of, well, he calls it TMS, which is tension myoneural syndrome, which is, or it's also called mind-body syndrome. He also refers to it as perceived danger pain. So there's different terms that you'll get for it, different therapists, central nervous system sensitization, there's psychosomatic, there's like all these different names, but the most popular one that I like is mind-body because it explains it really well, or perceived danger pain. But most therapists don't use or are familiar with that. That's more Dan Buglio's term. But mind-body syndrome explains a lot just in the name. So I like that. Your mind affects your body affects your mind. Anyways, I hope that helps you a little bit. And I just want to send you all kinds of love today and encouragement. And I hope that things get better, and just keep taking your steps. Try to wire it down. Listen to beautiful music. If you can practice mindfulness, there's different, even pain type of meditations that you can, there's a couple that I have. But it teaches you to focus on other things with your mind. For example, you could go and do a mindfulness type of meditation in the woods, or in your room if you're in bed and you can't, if your pain's that bad, and you focus on other sensations or other senses in your body. So it could be smells, it could be sight. Like you could look at maybe a flower and start really paying attention to the detail and like you know what I mean? And you try, because your mind can't focus on multiple things at once. So if you can intensely focus on other senses in your body other than the pain, that will help change the neural pathways a little bit. It's easier said than done, again, but it still helps it from getting worse versus, maybe just keep it from getting worse, I guess is the better thing. So it might not be taking it all away, but it's keeping it from getting worse because you're not over focusing on the pain, which stimulates it more. So anyways, I hope that helps you, and I'm just sending you love and peace today, and be well. Okay, take care. Bye.